What's up, everyone? I'm back. Back from London. It's actually good to be back. I like having the stuff I need when I want to make a live stream, like an internet connection. Wait a second. Did it just come back on? What just happened? There we go. Looks like it's working now. I just said that. Oh my God, I just jinxed the whole thing. That is hilarious. I said I would... Did you guys catch that? I just said it's great to be home because it's good to have a good internet connection, and then boom, the internet just went down. What is up with that? That's completely impossible. Well, whatever, it's working now. We're talking about some Genesis today. I'm really glad I had a great trip to England. I got some more stuff to put out from there. You guys saw my Abbey Road video, which was really fun. You know, some people were talking about me stepping over when I was talking to Merrick about as we're talking, I was kind of jumping in a little bit. We had a very limited, what's up, Hypes? We had a very limited window. They had a session at 11 and we started right at 10. And I wanted to make sure that I got through everything. So I was like, let's do this, you know. And because we had to set up, I got a tour of the whole studio first. We couldn't shoot anywhere else other than Studio 2. Otherwise, I would have gone up to Studio 3. And but some of the really great things were the actual studio construction that people don't talk about. They talk about all these other things. I want to hear about the microphones, the studio construction. There's so much history out there about the Beatles and Radiohead and Pink Floyd and everybody that's recorded there. But I want to talk about physically, how big is the room? And these are important things. So we're going to do a Genesis analysis here of a song that I've never learned until right now. Okay, I just learned it. Even though I've been listening to it for 45 years. I never thought about it until I wrote it down. I just never thought about it. And I was like, okay, I've got to write this down. So I'm going to do a quick pitch. Beato bundle for sale. All of my educational products for $99. That's a $436 savings from what I would normally sell all four of them for. That's my Beato Book Interactive, which has hundreds of audio examples in the book, dozens of video lectures and videos to clarify really important theory concepts, and 500 page PDF textbook that goes with it. But with everything has examples that you can hear, so it's much better. My Beato Ear Training has 80 video lessons and hundreds of interactive training modules, and that also has a theory component to it that comes with it. My Beginner Guitar course, that's what it is. It's a beginner guitar course. It's for complete beginners. 28 lessons on that. And then my Quick Lessons Pro guitar course, that's more of an advanced course. Got 5 hours of content in that. Okay, so we're talking about the song Ripples. I always come back to this record because it blows my mind. I'm going to put the chords on here. And I'm going to play it for you. I'm going to start at the top, and we're going to talk about this. Because there's things in here, as I'm trying to do a breakdown of it, I was thinking, like, how do you actually talk about what is going on here? So check this out. Let's start from the top. Two girls coming every size. Some are wise and some are otherwise. They got pretty blue eyes. For now a man may change. For now the face looks strange. Looks strange. Looks strange. Okay, there's no bass that comes in here except for there's like a where it goes C. When he says, look strange, that part. Look strange, look strange, look strange. There's a really cool bass lick that happens there. Let's talk about what's going on here. This is one weird progression that on first viewing, you're like, okay, I understand what this first thing is here, this E major 7 chord, you know. Then this B major 7. Okay, yeah. So you'd say that's 4-1 in the key of B, and then you have like A add 9 over E or A over E to E. That would be a 4-1 in the key of E. And then you have the if we're still in, if you go here, later on they add that G sharp in the bass, and it becomes like a G sharp minor 7 on the next phrase when the bass actually come in, but it's really kind of a B major chord there. And then it goes to D minor 6. So how does B major and D minor 6 work together? Now, this song was written by Mike Rutherford and Tony Banks. This is Phil Collins singing, but Phil did not write any of the songs. This is such a guitar and piano song, which is what's so amazing on it. And obviously, that the 12-string work on this is just unbelievable. So this particular, but I mean, there's a lot of open strings that are in the song, right? So Steve Hackett is on 6th string, and I think it's Steve's on 6th string and Mike Rutherford's on 12th string. I'm not sure though, and it's impeccably recorded by David Henschel, who produced it. Now, so this is definitely though built, I think, around the guitar because there's so many open string chords in here, like this is E over D, which comes next on that part. So you've got this E major 7. Then you have a 2/4 bar. So that's A. I'm just saying A add 9 over E, but it's really A over E, a second inversion, A major chord to E, then B major 4, D minor 6, then, okay, how is this D minor 6 related to that B major chord though? So we can say everything, you can say you're in B major here, except for on the first 2 chords, 4 chord, 1 chord, and then this is a 4-1, or a flat 7 to 4 to 1. That's what it sounds like to me. The flat 7, this is A over E, right? Flat 7 to 1 to 4 to 1. But this D minor 6. So I started thinking about, it's like, okay, well, what is it really? If you think of a B major chord like this, you have the D sharp and F sharp and B. There's your D minor 6 chord related right to it there. If you think of a blues, let's say you're in the key of B, that sounds totally normal though. Now when you hear it, you don't think, oh, that sounds like a blues turn down, but that's how the voice leading. Let's listen to it again. Fascinating. Girls come in every size. Some are wise and some otherwise. They got pretty blue eyes. I hear that 6th in there that makes a G sharp minor then. Right? You hear that bass note? Now the bass comes in. Low B here. Hear that? Then beautiful change. Pre-chorus.
She shakes her head as if to say that it's the last time you'll love.
Amazing. Okay, so first of all, this is played live. You can hear the slowdown to make the chorus dramatic, right? This pre-chorus is absolutely fascinating. So I was thinking about this. So it goes to D sharp diminished. So after the, let's talk about the build-up. The second time around, when they add in the bass notes, then the pre-chorus. Okay, so this is a diminished 7 of the E minor. So D sharp diminished 7 to E minor. So we call these secondary diminished 7s, but then you're like, well, Rick, E minor is not the key of B major. It's like, yeah, we've long left B major. When we go to this chord here, this E over D is really a third inversion E7 chord. Okay, so think of this D, this E over D as a third inversion E7 chord. So an E7 chord has root, third, fifth, seventh, E, G sharp, B, D. So if I take the E7 chord, this, and I put the D in the bass, that's the same chord. So it's E, G sharp, B, D, just out of order with the flat 7 in the bass. What's great about this is that learning this stuff really trains your ear to listen for inversions, voice leading, all these things. And I'm basically making a combination of the piano and the guitar part together. But then you say, okay, then it goes, if this E minor, let's say it's related to the key of C, and it's the 3 chord. This would be in the key of C, E minor 7 would be the 3 chord. So this is diminished 7 of 3 to 3 minor, and then diminished 7 of 3 to C. You're like, well, how does that relate? Okay, so this D sharp diminished repeats every 4 frets. So really, D sharp diminished 7th is the same as C diminished 7th. And C diminished 7 to C major is a very common deceptive resolution. It's a diminished 7 of 1. So this chord are the same notes, just spelled differently, right? It's all perfect voice leading. But then you're like, then it goes C to D over C. D over C is a D7 chord. Okay. So you're going C to D. Well, then you're like, okay, Rick, well, maybe this is actually in G. Okay. Because this chord would be the 4 chord in G. This would be the 5 chord in G, D7, but D7 over C. But then it goes to B sus4 to B there. This is just an amazing, there's all these borrowed chords in here. I mean, I could analyze this pre-chorus in the key of G as well. If it was in the key of G, it'd be diminished 7 of 6 going to diminished 7th tonic diminished of the root. Okay, this is really complicated, but the voice leading And the voice leading part of it is the most important. When you hear it, when I go that, or go, it sounds like blues again. And this is why I harp on this ear training stuff. These are the things that I, in my ear training course, this is more of really what the third and fourth chapters on the ear training course eventually get into, is to start recognizing minor six chords, these diminished seventh to one progressions like that, and getting to hear those. Hearing the voice leading, what those inner lines are and how they're related to one another. When I start going like this and I go, when I start doing that and you say, well, that's part of a G7 chord too, that D minor 6. If I put a G in the bass, it becomes a G7 chord. So these chords are all interrelated. They're just fragments of other chords. But if you develop your ear, you can hear these things and figure them out instantly. When I went to figure this out, I figured it out in, it took me longer to write it out than figure it out. But I've literally never thought about it. I never even realized that there was that 2/4 bar right in the third measure, where it goes the 2/4 bar and then back to 4/4. Never occurred to me. I've been listening to this song since 1976, like millions of times, right? And I never occurred to me. Because I don't think like that. When I want to learn a song, if I want to play along with it, then I have to actually think about it. And it's kind of like, you have to learn how to turn the switch on and off in your brain to do these things, right? You have your ear that you use for improvising, okay? If I hear that chord, right? I hear D Dorian. So I hear that D Dorian sound when I hear that chord, but I'm not analyzing this. I'm analyzing it when I need to do it. Okay, let's continue on here. We'll talk about the chorus. I love this. Love that low C. I mean, they slow down. So, since I just learned this, I'm actually listening to it and just figuring it out as it's going by. I don't have the chart. I'd have to pull up the chart in front of me. I'm just playing it by ear right now. Okay, so now I've pulled up the chart because I don't see the chart that you guys are seeing on the screen. Okay, so now I'm looking at it, right? So I'm like, okay, so we got which is beautiful. It's 1 major 7 to a 2 major over 1, or this could be a third inversion B7 chord. But I just hear it as 1. I hear it really as 4 in the key of E to 5. Then it goes to 1. Then it goes secondary dominant to lead right back to the 4. So that's a 5/7 a 4. But it goes to, but then it's a deceptive cadence, right? Now, why does that work? That E7, that works because this F sharp, there's like, basically you have an A major over F sharp there, so. Then you go F sharp, sus4 to F sharp major, then back to A major 7. What's interesting here is this line movement. So you got da, da, da. Then there's a that's really let's listen to that.
Looks up, and she shakes her head as if to say that it's the last time you'll look like today.
Beautiful. Love that.
The face that launched 1,000 ships is sinking fast. That happens, you know. The water gets below. Seems not very long ago. Lovelier she was than any that I know. Angels
Love it.
never know it's time to close the book and gracefully decline. The song's found a tale. My, what a jealous fool is she. The face in the water
Amazing.
looks up.
Perfect melody.
She shakes her head as if to say that the bluebirds have all gone away.
I love how it slows down there. Okay, let's go back to the chorus here, right? So this is an interesting thing here about these inversions. Let me take this thing off the screen. It really kind of gets in the way here. So I've thought about this a lot. This particular move, you've heard this a million times in songs from the 70s. I thought about when I did the breakdown, the Phil Collins, what was the song? What is it? This is my jet lag kicking in. The what's the one that I did that was I'll think of it here. But in the 70s, everybody used this particular chord progression. I would always call it 1 to 2 major over 1 in the against all odds. There we go. Thank you, Daniel. Against all odds. I would always call it 1 to 2 over 1. Pat Metheny used it in so many songs. Genesis, I mean, like every song. The Police, Sting. If you think of Truth Hits Everybody, the first record, it's like if you same key to it. Truth Hits Everybody. You know that? Do you guys know that one? everybody used that chord progression, and now it just doesn't get used at all. Sally asked, Rick, grateful for your efforts. What's the price of your package and how do I get one? So if you go to rickbeato.com, click on the link here, Sally, my Beato book, my ear training course, everything I make, all my educational things are all part of the, are for $99. So everything that I've built, all my educational courses are there. This is a way to support the channel and learn these things yourself. Because it's interesting. So my Beato book goes over the theory of how these chord progressions are related, right? So how to analyze them. And the ear training course is how to recognize what you're hearing, right? So they're completely interrelated. Ear training and music theory are the same thing. The thing about my Beato book, it gets much further in depth with explaining these things, like about this, how these chord progressions would be. When you hear me, when I play it like that, I mean, the song doesn't sound at all like a blues, but I explain how these, what the theory is between these turnarounds like that. I was thinking about this is like that same turnaround Eddie Van Halen uses in Eruption in the hammering part, right? He uses that exact same blues turnaround, and Freddie Mercury uses it in when I did my breakdown on Bohemian Rhapsody. He uses it in that one main part. And these songs sound nothing alike. I should just make that video where I combine these things and show how these moves are made, and they're so similar, and they're so similar, yet they don't sound anything alike, because it's all about the voice leading of this. That's the thing. It's like you got to be able to listen to what the inner voices of the chords are doing. And that, Renzo says it right there. Word to the wise, work on your ear training. It's what makes you a good musician. What did you say, Renzo? He's right about that. He says, it's what makes you a good musician, just as Rick has said many times over. It's what makes you a good musician, what makes you a great musician is the ability to hear these things and play them. Because, I mean, that's ultimately what it is. Somebody asked me, Rick, I did a video with the guys from That Pedal Show. I did a video with Lee Anderton. And they asked me about what I learned first. And I said, I learned to play by ear first. I didn't know what the theory was until I started studying it. Once I started studying the theory, then it just made it, then I was able to connect things that I heard that are really unrelated. So when I hear that lick in Eruption, the tapping riff, I recognize it as a blues turnaround. And when I hear the same thing in Bohemian Rhapsody, I recognize it as a blues turnaround, but it doesn't sound like that because of the way the chords are arpeggiated, but it's exactly the same movement. And then this thing here, you hear that thing right there in this. Let's see if I can find it again.
Where the honey flows and takes you by the hand, pulls you down on your knees while you're down a hole of years. The face in the water looks up.
It's interesting too, because when I always knew that was a diminished chord there, a diminished seventh chord in the pre-chorus here. But I didn't think of it. I didn't until I actually wrote the chart out just before this. I wrote the chart here. Where's my book that I wrote it in? This is funny because I got, when you go on these trips, like when I went to Abbey Road, hold on, I'm going to get it. I'm going to walk out of the screen and I'm going to walk back. And the thing on the screen here is just this. So I have my Abbey Road notebook that they gave me, which is cool. It's a cool little notebook. I was like, I'm going to christen it by putting my little chicken scratch in here. That's what you're seeing on the screen is this. Okay, so I said, okay, I'm going to fill this thing up with songs that I teach on here. And somebody says, is it fun anymore? It's very fun. It's so fun to be able to sit down and just go zip, 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 zip. Okay, there's the song. And then I listen to it and I watch it down. I'll put it back on the screen here. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that's a lead sheet that I could throw on a gig. If I was going to play this song with somebody, I could just quickly put it down and say, okay. One of the chords there, when it goes to that B major chord, I have B major, but it's like that's actually what the, so it's like I love that. That's the first time that does it when it doesn't have a bass note under it. That's just, and it's all, this whole song is just voice leading, great voice leading. It's obviously written between a piano player and guitar player, but the ability to hear it and write it down is what my ear training course is. That's it right there. That's why you should get it. Click on the link and go buy it, because ultimately that's the thing that I want you guys to be able to do, is to be able to take down songs like that, write them down. Right? This stuff is so genius because this really is sophisticated to the ear. This is very, very tough to get these things, right? Unless you have a great ear. And these are the things that I will teach you how to do. I mean, the Steve Hackett and Mike Rutherford parts in this song are phenomenal together. And Tony Banks, the way his keyboard part on the little breaks that he does here, that right here, listen. Listen to those, the 12 string and the 6 string. I mean, it's amazing. David Henschel, the recording of this is so good. I really, really want to interview him because I just can't believe how good this record sounds. As an audio file or a production file, whatever you would call me, when people can capture the sound of an instrument and capture multiple instruments together and capture them and get them to interlock where they sound so perfect together that they just create this thing where you don't even know what to listen to and everything is clear and it just works together. It's like the perfect orchestra. There's just, and there's a music file. Is that what musicophile? Is that what I am? I think I wouldn't say I'm an audiophile. Maybe I'm an audiophile. I think is a person that buys $10,000 speakers to listen to stuff that was mixed on $600 speakers. That's actually a joke there. But I always used to, my friends that would spend $10,000 on their stereos, I'd be like, why are you spending $10,000 on a stereo to listen to a record that I know is mixed on Yamaha NS10s? I guarantee you that they weren't hearing all those things, right? And just be like, ah. So there's a lot of songs on here that this has some of the most sophisticated Genesis songs, really. I think because after Peter Gabriel left. Before they settled on Phil Collins being their singer, they had written a lot of these ideas, right? And there are, it's just the three of them, Steve Hackett, and I mean, obviously Phil was in the band playing drums and everything, but the ideas there. This is such an musically sophisticated album, which I think is why somebody mentioned Entangled on there doing that. I did a breakdown, of course, of Dance on a Volcano as well off this. I can't talk about this record enough. Somebody talked about Duke having some duds on it. Duke is a great record, but it's not even close to this. Wind and Weathering, killer record. The Gabriel, the earlier records, amazing. But I just keep coming back to this because this is such a good guitar record. Man, so good. Amazing. So that's it for this. I wanted to talk about this because this is a very, very interesting song to train your ear and learn about the analysis of how it's put together. Because this is really unlike. I said Bohemian Rhapsody is unlike any other song. You know, there's some songs that are just unlike any other song. I can pretty much say that about every Joni Mitchell song. You know, songs like King of Pain by Sting, The Police, you know, songs like that, just no one would come up with that song but Sting. You know, it's just really brilliant. Or Fortress Around Your Heart. There's so many songs. I think of Rush. I think of all these bands that just would work on this stuff for you know, they sat down and they worked this stuff out for months, right? Or else they just came up. Or Elton John would just come up with the stuff off the top of his head. So there, Cliff and Jessica. Genesis and Phil Collins is what music must sound like in heaven. There you go. Sounds like heaven when I listen to it. It's just the ethereal beauty of this is so amazing. I'd love to get David Henschel. If anyone knows him, love to get him. Love to interview him. Anyhow, you guys are the best. Thank you so much. Remember, get your Beato bundle today. $99. Click it right now. Click the link. You need to know this stuff. All right. See you guys later. Have a great rest of your weekend. Take care.